It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome to the Daylight Midnight Show. My name is Greg, and I know I've complained about outfit roulette making me hot before, but this is ridiculous this week. This is that beach robe that I mentioned that I only put onto the outfit roulette chart about 2 weeks ago. I got it for Father's Day last year, but I never wore it, and I expected that a beach robe would just be something like a thin towel with a hole in the top to put your head through. But no, this is actually like a dressing gown. So I'm going to stand up so you can see it properly. And I'm also going to be very unladylike and hitch it up to show you that I am indeed wearing the wetsuit underneath, as dictated by Outfit Roulette. This thing is massive, it's very heavy. I think you could go swimming in winter and put this on when you come out of the sea and it'll keep you warm. And if I put the hood up, it's like something from biblical times. Hello, welcome to the Daylight Monk Light Show. Anyway, so basically I'm overheating, so we're going to get through this as quickly as we can. So let's reveal our wonderful word of the week. This is a word I didn't know existed a week ago. I've discovered it during this week, so I've decided to share it with you. And this week it is the word incunabula. I can't read it backwards on the camera, so I have to look at it. Incunabula. That's the plural. The singular form is incunabulum. And what it means is any book that was published before the year 1501. I just think it looks beautiful. Remember I spoke the other week about why I like certain words looking the way they do. So that's our word of the week. I've done a bit of research into why the year 1501 might be relevant. And I've got to be honest, I'm not particularly interested in the history of publishing, the history of printing, or the history of typography. So I got a bit distracted halfway through, so I never found out what the answer is. But that is our wonderful word of the week. From there we swing round to the Door of Delights, which doesn't have much new, but it does contain this, which is our topical limerick of the week. And the story is this. I think this has dominated everything this week, so I've got to go with this as the big story of the week, which is the weather. About 10 days ago, I was outside wearing 4 layers of clothing, and this week, you're overdressed if you're wearing a t-shirt. So a limerick about this. The climate's a funny old thing, and we're stuck with whatever it bring. Winter's length was a bummer, and now we're in summer, so what the hell happened to spring? I'll give that a C+. So from the Door of Delights, we always swing round to the brown folder, which of course now has its own theme tune. We're finally in spring and birds are laying lots of eggs. Let's see what is written in the folder that is Greg's. That's a work in progress. So the brown folder is something that I pretend I carry around with me all the time. I don't, I leave it in my office. And if I think of something I want to talk to you about on the show, I write it down in here and then we look at it together. So this week then, point number 1, I want a new word. Yes, I'm trying to find a word that means the following, right? So I've written the description and I want to know if there's a word that means this. The horrible feeling when you remember that you needed to remember something, but you can't remember what it was. Sometimes you might nip in the shop and you go, there's 4 things I need to buy: bread, milk, tomatoes and toilet roll. You get the bread, milk and tomatoes, and then you're walking around going, what's number 4, what's number 4, what's number 4? And you get that horrible feeling where you know you're not going to remember it. To me, it tends to happen during the night. I might be awake in the middle of the night and I'll think of a joke or something I want to write about. And I'll think, I must remember this, but I can't be bothered to write it down. So I go back to sleep, and then maybe 11:30 the next morning, I'll be driving and I'll suddenly go, oh yeah, there was something I thought of during the night, but then you can't remember what it was. So I think we need to come up with a word that means that. Which has given me another idea, which is point number 2, that I might start inventing my own words. So if we get round to doing a series 3 of the Daylight Midnight Show, instead of the wonderful word of the week, I might have a word that I've made up and a description for what it contains, or what it explains. And the final point this week, oh yeah, my thermal t-shirt. This is something else that maybe we can come up with a word for. I'm going to show you this. This is one of a collection of about 4 thermal undergarments that I've got, which I'm embarrassed to tell you I was still wearing in April this year. But what happened is, again, this might be something you're familiar with. The other day, I tidied all my winter coats and winter clothing away, and I put it all in a box. And I checked around everywhere and there was nothing left. I packed it away, I put it in the attic, and when I came down, I found this sitting on the bed. Clearly visible, but I hadn't noticed it. And it's a phenomenon I've been familiar with before. I call it the Tinsel Paradox, because it's when you pack away your Christmas decorations, you will check every inch of your house to make sure you've got every Christmas decoration boxed away, and then you'll put them away, and then about 2 days later, there'll be a massive bit of tinsel hanging from a light that was quite clearly there all along, but you missed it. And now you've got to decide whether you unpack everything to put it away, whether you bin it, or whether you just leave it hanging there for the year. So it's very much a first world problem, but it's something else I've encountered this week that I want to come up with a word for. I'm getting really hot and this is starting to stick to me. Oh, I got sunburnt this week as well, that's the other thing. And I was going to do a little special about sunburn remedies throughout the year, which I've done before for things like backache and headaches. But they're all basically the same thing. It's keep it covered up when you go out in the sun and use a lot of moisturiser to get the moisture back into your skin. The one thing they do all say, all these different websites, they say to you, don't wear any tight clothing. So here I am with sunburn wearing a tight wetsuit. My vocabulary's going because of the heat. Right, crack on then. This is the main bulk of the show then. I'm going to do another one of these online surveys that I've done before. We've worked out before what penguin I am, what bike I am, what cookie I am. I remember being an almond cookie. I seem to have a memory that we did what ice cream I am, but I can't remember that for certain, so I might have to check back and have a look. But the one we're going to do this week is on the CBBC website in the UK, and it's to find out what seabird I am. I don't have a sort of nagging need to find out what seabird I am, but we do have our show mascot, Pogo Dave Penguin, and he's the only animal on the Door of Delights, and I'm worried he might be getting lonely. So by doing this, we'll have a friend for him. And we might find out a little bit more about myself as well by doing this survey. So, question number one then. What colour do you like the best? I imagine this is going to dictate what colour the bird will be, but the choices are black and white, orange, white or brown. Of those, I'm going to go for black and white because it's the wetsuit I'm wearing is black and white. Next, pick the word that describes you the best. These are the ones I hate. Friendly, chipper, active or brave. Of those, I'll go for the one that I think I'm most like to be, which is friendly. On a side note, I've realised this wetsuit is actually too small for me because it's really digging in places I wouldn't want it digging in. Anyway, your stomach is rumbling. Question 3, which do you go for? The options are chips, fish, scrambled egg on toast or crab sushi. Of those, I'm going to go for the one I fancy most at the moment because it's about breakfast time when I'm filming this, so I'm going to go for scrambled egg on toast. Time to get creative. Choose a setting for a spooky fantasy story. A fish and chip shop that never ever shuts, a huge boat lost at sea, a small abandoned town by the sea, or deep underwater in an unexplored cave. The one that's stirring me up a bit there, I'm going to go, because the small abandoned town by the sea, you've seen a lot, right? I'm going to go for a huge boat lost at sea, because there's all sorts of possibilities for noises coming from underneath, spooky noises on the boat. And finally, okay, only 5 questions. You're allowed to try one of these fun water-based modes of transport. Which do you choose? There is a picture of a seaplane, you know, like a biplane with the skids to land on the water. A sea tricycle, it's called, which is a bizarre contraption that looks like a plastic bench with 3 huge wheels. A submarine or a speedboat. I'm going to go for a speedboat because I like being on top of the water, not under it. And so the seabird I am most like, apparently, is a puffin. And this is the description. You're a social butterfly, or should we say a social bird? Just like a puffin's beak, you have a lovely, bright and colourful personality. You spend all your spare time with friends and family, and you are always super friendly and kind to others. Well, I'd like to think that's true. Puffins love to interact with each other and spend time together. They even nest in colonies with lots of their puffin mates. I think that's more to do with safety in numbers and protection rather than being friendly. Anyway, they spend most of their lives out at sea and like to build their nests in little burrows in the cliffs. How cool! So I am a puffin. That's now going to be the official seabird of the Daylight Midnight Show, and we will have a picture of a puffin becoming mates with Pogo Dave Penguin on the Door of Delight's next show. And that's all we want to do now, I think, and I need to get this clothing off, so let's decide what I'm going to wear next week by using the randomness of the Rubik's Cube and the outfit roulette chart. Option 1 is black, so I'll be wearing my black jacket. Thank God it's not the wetsuit. Under that we will have red, which is a shirt, so it's going to be a very formal, very smart show next week. And to accessorise all that, we will have green, which will be makeup. Black jacket, a shirt and makeup. I don't know if I've forgotten anything because I'm so contracted by this I can't breathe properly, and I'm so hot from wearing this I don't know where I am. So a rhyming couplet to end the show on then. The seabird I am most like is apparently the puffin. What difference will this make to my life? My guess would be nothing. I will see you next week. Have a great 7 days.